Hi, my friends. I am excited to bring you another artist interview with our Artist Spotlight program at paintpouracademy.com. This is a new program that started a few weeks ago, and we've got some great artists listed on it already. And today we're going to talk to Kandra Churchwell. And she is an artist, but she uses fluid art techniques with a different medium. She works at soapyfriends.com, and she sells all her products at Aloe Goods. So thank you, Kandra, for joining me. I am super excited for this interview and to learn a little bit more how you're kind of making fluid art with little different medium with soap making. I mean, I would never guess that at all, ever.
Well, I had great inspiration from you and being able to paint with you. Are we going to tell everyone our secret affiliation?
Why not?
Hi, sis! Yeah, Erika's my sister. I like to brag that I have the best sister ever.
I have the best sister.
We get to play around a lot together, and one thing that she introduced me to was fluid art. Being an extra crafty person, or shall I say crafting addict, that I think many artists are, I knew I really should not start fluid paint pouring myself because but I couldn't help. It's so much fun. It's such a unique medium with so many different techniques, and when you dive into it, you have an idea, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's okay. It's one of the best therapies out there, and soap making is pretty similar in that aspect of it. When you're dealing with abstract designs, you're dealing with kind of unknown variables, especially with the way I make soap, which is using natural colorants. So I use botanical extracts and infusions in order to make all of my soapy colors. So yeah, it just kind of went hand in hand, and every time I saw whatever you were doing, I couldn't help but think, oh, can I soap that? And so that's what started. And of course, there's nothing as beautiful as the rest of the art of the artists you've been spotlighting. But there's two of my actual fluid art paintings that I did playing with my sister.
Well, I think it is amazing how you have been self-taught with this soap making, and you're using colors from nature, and it's working and it's beautiful. And these soaps, I'm afraid to use them sometimes because they are a work of art. They're beautiful.
Life's too short. Use the pretty soap.
Right? Use the pretty soap. So why don't you tell us a little bit how you started soap making? What made you get into that?
Oh, goodness. So I have three beautiful children, and my youngest daughter decided for her science lesson, because we homeschooled them and they got to pick what we were doing in each subject. And we told her, you need to pick a science subject, and she picked chemistry, and she said, let's learn to make soap. We did. I still have a bar of that original batch. It was just a very plain Jane olive oil soap. We learned so much of what not to do during that first soap making session, and I enjoyed it so much. Like I said, I became a soap addict, and I've been soap making ever since. And some of the rationale behind why I use the botanicals is we had, for an art lesson, a little bit of chemistry a few years before that, had explored making our own paints and using botanical extracts. So I already knew a little bit about getting color out of nature from that experience, and from working, in the ceramics studio in high school and all of that. So I thought, hey, yeah, let's color some soap with some plants. And you can. Both of these here are made with madder root and Himalayan rhubarb infusions, and it is a fluid art paint pour technique that I learned from you. From dipping. So we had a bar of soap. I poured some wonderful, just acrylic paint pour onto a tray and just started dipping that soap. And it was so much fun. And aren't they just beautiful? But they're all from plants. And that's some of them. And then you can get colors like this from your plants as well. And this is we call it a drop swirl technique, but it's very similar to some of the things that I see you doing. And soap tops are usually decorated the same way you would kind of drag skewers through your paint. So there's actually quite a few similarities between the techniques you're using with your fluid art paint medium and what I'm doing with soap. I'm just doing it with soap.
That's so awesome.
And here's a secret. I haven't told you this yet.
Oh no.
Why I think soap might be better than canvas.
What?
Because you can use it up and then you don't have to figure out where to put all your extra paintings. Because you can always make more soap.
Can always make more soap. And yeah, it's because I made so much art and it just piles. Like,
you cannot decorate your walls with soap. You can't. And when your soap is used up, it's used up and the beautiful design is gone. So there, pros and cons to both. But I just had to tease you a little bit.
You can do it again. No, I think it's been a lot of fun having you at the paint parties and painting with me and even some of the videos and projects. Oh my gosh. And it's fun because when you're painting with me, you're like, wow, I'm going to do this with my soap. And then to watch you do that is just like, wow, that is so cool. So
and so much of what you do really inspires me to try new different techniques. Like, I can't add silicone to soap to make cells. So that's my next big experiment that I have planned, is to try and figure out a way to replicate cells with acrylic paint pour medium and silicone, but in soap.
And natural soap, natural products.
Yes.
That's interesting.
I'm very excited about it. I'll definitely let you keep you apprised of that as we move forward in that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure there'll be lots of soapy fails, and then eventually we'll get it figured out and it'll be so cool.
So in the artist industry and your soap making, is there someone that inspires you with designs or soap making? How do you get your ideas? Do you have like an inspiration?
I mean, I've already mentioned you so much. Is that that's really that really is honestly where it comes from. If you weren't my sister, if you hadn't gotten into painting with the fluid art, I would have never thought to do half of the things I do in my soap. From a soap making perspective, Amy Warden, she has what's called the Soap Challenge Club, and there's lots of inspiration there. A soapy friend of mine, Penny Cryer, she's an herbalist and does some just amazing, beautiful, just color extracts. And so she's amazing too. And Mother Nature. I mean, I love, because this is what my oils look like. I mean, I have flowers sitting in jars of oil, and this is calendula, and it's going to make just a lovely yellow color for me to use versus something like this is tree resin that's been infused in oil. So we'll get some wonderful properties, and we'll see what color happens in this one.
Looks almost green. Do you think it'll turn green?
I think it's going to be a shade of brown. I think it's going to be a shade of brown. Yeah, because I'm also dealing with like the pH level. So this is annatto seeds, and you can see that's a wonderful orange. So this is pretty stable with pH of soap. No idea what's going to happen with this one. This is a brand new experiment that that's part of a class for my soapy friends over at soapyfriends.com. But something like this wonderful, just awesome neon pink, this oil looks very similar to this.
Really?
And then you add the sodium hydroxide and that pH change. So chemistry, magic.
Wow.
So cool.
Wow. So you've gone from your daughter's science class and then you went to opening an online store, Aloe Goods, where you sell all your natural products. Yep. And now it has evolved into soapyfriends.com where you teach.
Yep. And so soapyfriends.com evolved out of a book I wrote, The Natural Soap Color Palette.
Oh, yeah, the book you wrote. Yes.
And I wrote this book because there are so many colors like green that are really hard to get with nature. A green that'll stay and hold and not fade. And it's really, really difficult. So as I was trying to figure all this out, and there was no information out there for soap makers dealing with natural colors, I kind of pulled out my artist's, toolkit, I guess, from back in the day when our grandma was teaching me how to mix colors and basic color theory. And I'm like, oh, yellow and blue make green. I've got a yellow that works. I've got a blue that works. Can I create a whole palette of colors from color theory with botanical ingredients for soap? So it's very specific. So there's color theory involved. There's understanding herbalism and foraging and harvesting and extracting colors from nature. And then you also tie in the chemistry and the science of pH and how all of the tannins and various constituents of the botanicals are affected by that pH.
Wow.
So that's what I do to make something pretty.
Yeah.
And this one's fun too, because that's that yellow and blue to make green, and that's exactly what we did. We mixed the colors on the fly to get green to appear in our yellow and blue soap.
Wow.
It's so much fun.
What a job. I mean, that is seriously involved. I'm very proud of you. That is like amazing. I'm proud of you for getting that far and just going with it. And, using just logic and just tracing it and using what you know to get to yellow and blue make green. That's what we know.
Yeah, lots of trial and error, lots of experimentation. All soap makers need to start with just the basics of soap making, the saponification process, and keep it real simple, and to get to a level to where you can start playing with color, much less natural colors, which I wouldn't say they're harder than synthetic colors. There's you just need to learn a little bit more about it. But to me, I think it's completely worth it. It's so magical, all the color changes and the science of it. And so it takes a while to get going, but once you do, it's a journey that's so
hard to stop.
Yeah.
You can't stop. Oh, nice. Well, thank you for joining me on the interview. I'm super glad to learn a little bit more. I am very honored to have you here as my sister and as an artist, because you're an artist that turned fluid artist with a different type of medium. That's so exciting, and I hope that's an inspiration to people. So if you who are watching would like to be on the Artist Spotlight program, go to paintpouracademy.com, artist-spotlight, and you will see Kandra's photo. You can click on her forehead. You can learn more about her. And there's a form on that page too where you can contact me, and then we can talk about how to get you involved in this program too. So thank you for joining me, Kandra. I appreciate your time. Keep going with your art and your soap making, and we'll see everybody next time.
Thanks, Seth.